Why don't I trust stairs? Because they are always up to something. What's going on, YouTube? I'm here, helming a pirate ship. Why? Why not? So, today we're going to talk about everything that's going on in October, including a little bit of speculation, because as you may or may not know, ESO was like, hey, we're going to have this Gates of Oblivion event on the horizon. Well, when is it going to start? Will it be October? Maybe. Will it be November? Probably. Now, obviously, Update 40 is also coming out this month, but to say it's this month is a little bit misleading because it comes out on the 30th for PC, and then it comes out 2 weeks later on console. So it's really more of a, next month type thing. But there's still a lot that's going on this month, including the Secrets of the Telvanni. How's that going? How's that affecting the economy? What you should be doing, what you should be grinding, and all the little things that you should do to make sure that you are set up for this month in ESO. So here is how things are going for Team Yensay. The Apocrypha Tome Furnishing appears to be the favorite. For those of you who do not know, there is a daily quest next to the Imprezo that when you complete the quest, you get to pick if you want to favor a Yensay or a Talisi, and based on that, your rewards are increased. You can also see that explore the Telvanni zone and explore extra rewards. You complete that quest, turn in the page, which is the one that's next to the Imprezo. You progress this meter. We are currently at 40%. We are actually making extremely good progress. Also note, the pages that you get from the turn the page quest are sellable, so people have been buying them to skip having to actually do the quest and just giving out their votes. You can do them, obviously, every time per day, but it is locked to once per day per character. And you can see here's all the interesting information about that. Unfortunately, though, the Imprezo doesn't give you your 2 event tickets, so you will still need to complete an actual daily quest. I would suggest doing the public world bosses in the Telvanni Peninsula. Pick up the public world boss dungeon or public world boss quest. Go there, kill the public boss, and then go back. There's probably going to be like 50 bajillion people there. It'll be very easy to kill them, and then you're good. And you get your 2 event tickets. The actual event itself, I would say the big focus, in my opinion, that I would really say that is going to be the best usage of your time is going to be to farm raw materials. So farming raw materials is actually going to give you a chance to get the purple boxes, and it's going to give you double resources, which is going to be pretty good. Now, I talked about that in another video where I talked about the most efficient Telvanni farm, so feel free to check out that video, but that's definitely the number one reason I would say to utilize this event. But why is resource farming going to be so good, in my opinion? And that is 2 reasons: the Grandmaster crafting station and the assorted additional changes that include jewelry crafting rebalances. So those little rapscallions are going to add a new Grandmaster crafting station that you're going to be able to buy with writs. And then you're going to basically feed in all of the craftable sets into there, the actual attunable stations into that bad boy, and you're going to be able to have one kind of main station to use then. Why this is so key is for a couple reasons. One, it's something to buy with writs. Anytime anything gets added to the writs store, writs go up in value. How do you farm writs? Well, you need to do writ books, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the assorted additional changes. But when you farm these writ books, that requires you to craft things. Crafting things require materials, upgrade mats, etc. Those are things that you get from raw materials, because when you refine raw materials, you have a chance to get these items. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the jewelry crafting changes and why that's so big. But also, the other big change with this too is that people are going to feel encouraged who, previously didn't want to have, all of the crafted sets because they take up a lot of space. Now they're probably going to look at this and go, I can now put this in here for the space. On Xbox, I believe if you wanted to purchase all of the crafting stations, the attunables to feed into these, not including the cost of those, it's going to cost you about 70 million gold. And that's going to be 70 million gold that people might now go, I might want to invest in this because now I can have these beautiful crafting stations without using, I don't know what the math breaks down to, but let's just say 200 to 300 furnishing slots only into those stations where they used to have to all be laid out. So I think that's a great change that they are making with this. But here's where it gets extra crazy is the jewelry crafting rebalance. So let's talk about this. The jewelry crafting balance, I think, is very big, but not for the obvious reason. So let's talk about what they're doing. So plates used to be you have to refine grains to get plates. Well, now a grain is going to become a plate, and your plates are going to become 10 plates. And then in the future, you're only going to get plates. You're not going to get grains anymore. But why is that essential? And also, too, the actual cost to upgrade is going to be in line with the other materials. So now it's going to cost you 8 plates to upgrade, versus its previous, I believe, is 4. Same with the purples, the blues, the greens, etc. Why is this such a big change? Well, it's going to help devalue jewelry mats, and it's going to convert all the old jewelry mats into new ones, where you can then trade them and use them. It's going to be big for these reasons. One, people who've never upgraded their jewelry are going to go, yeah, it's actually affordable now. I'll upgrade my jewelry. Because people always assume, there's not really a good reason to upgrade your jewelry, but there's some really good traits on jewelry that can get some good effects by being upgraded. Think about the movement speed buff alone. A lot of people will just leave it at purple, but ones like that are really profitable to upgrade. Now, I would say almost everything is worth upgrading, especially if you're using one of your best in slot class setups for PvE or PvP. So now you'll have the actual means to do so in an affordable way. But here's the big change, the big reason. So we've talked about writs and how people are probably going to be selling writs like crazy. All those old books that you've had, all those old writ voucher books that give you, 20 to 30, writ vouchers, for a blue, those are going to cost almost essentially nothing to do. I mean, even the triune crystals and the arubic amber that you might have to use are not going to offset the cost because people were giving those books away for free. And that's not including the purples and the golds that were hundreds of writs that are essentially also going to be exceptionally affordable. Now, in the future, all of the writ books are going to be completely rebalanced. So the blues might give you, 5, or the purples might give you 50 at most, and the golds might give you, 80, whatever. I'm not a mathematician. I'm sure that they're testing on all those numbers and whatnot. Why is that important? It means that all of your old writ books you should either do when the update comes out, or you should sell them. And you should profit off of everybody wanting to get this Grandmaster crafting station and being kind of up to date on all of the Grandmaster things and getting all those new attunable stations. The Gates of Oblivion was tested on PTS, and people were able to kind of see how it looks, how it's important, and how it will affect, meta farming and what you should do during this event. I'm not going to go super far into this because this probably deserves its own dedicated video, and plus we don't necessarily know if it's going to come out in the month of October. So what I will say is this is going to be a great actual farm. A lot of people might think that it's very similar to the Telvanni one, where it's good, but it's not anything that's going to make you go, oh, this is incredible. The Telvanni one, really the best rewards were the furnishing plans and the motifs, and those have been slowly losing value. Here, though, Rock Grove has some of the best in slot sets. Black Drake Villa, some of the best in slot sets in the game. They've got really good overland sets. They've got really good daily quest rewards. They have good furnishings also that people have not been farming. And I think that's really important to consider when we're thinking about these events. And so that's why I think that this event will actually be more profitable than the Telvanni one. Also, double resource drops will be in effect in this one also. And your resource drops will probably give you a chance to get different boxes. So a lot of different ways for you guys to profit off of this event. Obviously, if we get confirmation of its date, I will then, do a breakdown, farm this dungeon, get this set, farm this trial for this set, farm these daily quests, look for these rewards, farm these resource nodes, yada, 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 and so on. But I wanted to put this on your radar because this might be something that is an October themed something or other. And as always, here's just a general breakdown of items that generally have got a little bit of sell value on the ESO economy. One of you guys made an interesting comment on my last video about this where you said that some of these sets do not sell, and that is 100% true. Why I highlight these sets is really these are the sets that have a chance to sell. What does that mean? It means that if I've not listed a set on here, it means that it's probably not going to sell at all. So these are sets that generally during different patches and metas and things will have some sort of viability to sell. So when you get it, these are things that you can list on the economy, but they are also correct. And if there's a lot of competition for the sellage of certain sets and consumables, probably not going to be able to sell it. Or if you're in a guild trader that's not very, highly, trafficked, probably not going to be able to get a lot of sales there either. But I always like to list out things because it's kind of like a grand list of sets that are actually feasible, items that are feasible, and things to sell. So here are the consumables at the top. There's nothing that makes me think, people are really going to want a whole lot of XP potions, except I will say that the Endless Archive, which again will come out on the 30th and then the 14th of the following month for console, I think that it's going to be a very good XP farm. So people might want to use Psijic Ambrosias during that farming period when they're farming it with their friends or themselves or whomever. Do I think that that's going to affect the economy price? Probably not. I will say, though, that when it comes to potions, I think that the potion market might really see a huge increase, that being your tri-stats, your spell, weapon power, etc. The reason for that being is that the more people farm endgame content, you got to think, and I always think like this when I'm thinking economically, every time people farm trials and do different types of things and they're using consumables and potions, you have to think, at one point, somebody picked off those resources off the ground, that were turned into a bunch of potions that were then used and then were then kind of cycled through the economy, sold to a person, used by a person, and then they need more of those. That's how everything kind of interacts with each other. So the more people farm any type of content, PvP or PvE, and they're using things, they're using materials, resources, even when big housing competitions are announced, resources are being used in the economy, that's when you have a very resource, demand heavy economy. And I think that's what we're going to see as we get closer to Endless Archive. Overland sets and Overland DLC sets, nothing specific to highlight here. Same with PvP sets. I don't think there's anything that's going to be exceptionally going up in value. And the reason why is I'm sure as we get closer to the 30th and then the following 14th, we will know what sets people are really suggesting for Endless Archive. The reason why I can't go out and say this set is going to be used is because when you have arena sets, and that's how different than trials and dungeons, generally when you're doing an arena, you need a little bit of survivability, whereas when you're farming trials, you generally don't need that. And you're trying to basically keep yourself alive, but also do adequate damage to where you can get through different mechanics and, safely get through things. And also, too, you're limited on your number of revives when you're farming the Endless Archive, which is important because I think people are going to start building into bulk. And I can speculate as to what sets that they might wear to do that, but I truthfully do not yet know what people will be using. I know previously when arenas first came out, people were very big into Ice Heart, which unfortunately is a monster set, so it's not sellable, and Plague Doctor because it just gives you straight health. And people were using that as the kind of their counterbalance when they were farming this stuff. So I could see things like Trainee potentially going up. Druidic, the crafted set could be pretty good, which kind of leads us into different crafted sets. I do think that crafted sets are going to be big for this month, but I don't necessarily know as to which one is going to be the highlight of the month. I know that a lot of people have been experimenting, but that experimentation is still ongoing. Treasure maps. We got a whole video breaking down treasure maps, which treasure maps you should sell. Motifs for this month. Fortunately, you're going to be able to get those Telvanni motifs and furnishing plans. And we talk about furniture a little bit too at the end, but kind of group it all together. All the Telvanni stuff that you're getting probably does have some sell value. Some items that were worth millions on console previously, before this event, are still worth hundreds of thousands of gold, which is still not nothing. It's better than a slap in the face. Materials. This is where I think that this month is going to be key. It's going to be a very material-heavy month. I think that with the jewelry crafting changes, people have been hoarding jewelry, crafting pretty much everything. And if you've got unrefined jewelry dust, people are buying that like it's going out of business. And I don't know why, because you can farm it exceptionally easily right now. So buying it at a price that it feels shouldn't be seems a little bit goofy to me. But if you are looking to sell raw jewelry mats, you are able to do so for a pretty profit. that will probably even be higher than even if you after you wait until the update is released. Companion gear always sells well, but it always depends on the trait that you have. I always tell people to look out for the ones that are more tanky-esque. Think of things like that give your ability to have more health on your companion, reduce damage, and reduce cooldowns, I believe, are the number one sought after ones, as well as heavy for those pieces. Writ books we talked about earlier, they're going to be ridiculous this month. Even the ones that are not jewelry ones, because people are probably going to be wanting to go out and do them. And for those of you who don't know what a jewelry writ is, it's a book that you get from doing your daily writs, or you can buy from other players. It's a sellable, tradable item. It's basically a one-time quest to craft an item. And that item is usually blue, purple, or gold quality. It usually requires a specific set, a specific trait, and so on. And so when you do those, you get this currency called writs as a reward. And that's where I think that a lot of people don't really engage in the writ system. And I really do think that it's a very good system to go out and engage in. And then the writ voucher items, which are next to it, what are people going to then be purchasing? And the answer is attunable stations. I think that's the number one thing that people are going to be going out and farming during this event is the attunable stations and using those. And then furniture we had kind of talked about earlier. But dear friends, we're back on the pirate ship to kind of wrap up the video. Hope this video was helpful. October is going to be a great month for ESO, although to be fair, I do say that quite often. But I always think that each month is unique. There's different unique rewards, unique events, unique things coming out, new types of content, returning types of content that is highlighted because of different things going on. And that's where I think, hey, it's cool to highlight these things. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We're doing 3 giveaway drawings. The giveaway is actually tonight at midnight, assuming that I'm awake. If not, don't worry, I'll still do it tomorrow morning. Depends on my sleep schedule. But then everything will be entered into next month. So technically, we've already done our random word that was flashed upon yesterday's video. So congrats to the person who commented it first. It was definitely a photo finish. But you could still enter this month's by liking and subscribing. And the best part is that if you continue to stay subscribed and like the videos for next month, for the month of October, you're going to be entered into the drawing that is November 1st at midnight. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Thank you guys for sticking around past the end. I think that the next video is going to be one on event tickets. It's something that I think confuses a lot of people, actually myself included. You've got the fragments, you've got the guild commendations. It's just overall a very confusing currency in my opinion. So we're going to highlight upon that as well. And so that'll be kind of what we're doing next. Hopefully tomorrow. I will probably live stream maybe on Tuesday. Or Wednesday. Open to live stream suggestions if you have them in the comments below, and I'll catch you there. Bye, guys.